I want to tell you about the first time I ever served process. And it's because, I'm no Superman, I'm no special case. It was weird and I didn't totally know what I was doing and it was hard to figure out. Maybe sharing my story with you will help you as you go into this line of work and just to realize you're not alone in it. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that, including the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving, where I take you all the way through it from beginning to end, all the nitty-gritty details about it. Obviously, that was a resource I didn't have when I started out. And if you know my story, my first job out of the military was part-time security guard. I'd put on the polyester shirt and a tin badge, and I'd go around and tug on doorknobs to make sure they're locked. I went from that to state licensed private investigator, owning and running my own agency for 9 years. And you can do it too. There's nothing special about what I did. You can do this if you really want to. I had been a private investigator for a few years at this point in time, and a friend of a friend had a court case where they could not get a person served. And they came to me and said, Larry, can you serve process on this person? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, how hard could this be, right? And then I started to discover how hard this could be. And it's ironically not hard. It's not difficult. It's not tricky. It's not complex. You got to know what you're doing. But when you don't, it's a little scary and weird, right? So the first thing I did was I called my personal attorney and I asked her, hey, if I buy an hour of your time, can I come in and talk to you about serving process? It was like $100 an hour. I had no problems paying that. She said, no, she's not interested in doing that. Later on, I found out private attorneys just don't necessarily know a lot about serving process. It's not what they do. They file the service packs, the subpoenas and summonses and everything they might need, the interrogatories, all of that. And then a process server serves the process and the packs, and that's it. So, okay, that was a dead end for me. So then I started to try to learn on my own, and it was really tricky. I mean, the basics of it are simple, right? You pick up the packet, you serve the packet. But how far can you go? And see, the problem I was having was this was my first time ever, and it was a very difficult case. And I didn't know how much deception I could legally use in order to serve process. I finally figured that out on my own, and even it was not fun to try to do that. The serving the pack itself went fairly smoothly as it could go. I had to use a very extreme method of deception that I describe in the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving under my nuclear methods, if you just have to go nuclear. And I don't mean violence, but I just mean was super way above and beyond what anyone would expect a process server to do. But I served the packet of papers and filed the return of service. I didn't even totally know what that was at the time, honestly. And I think I've shared with you before, the law office said, just when you're done, file the return of service with the court. And I said to them, I don't know what that is. And they still hired me. They still wanted me. They said, just bring this, sign this, bring it down to the clerk's office. Oh, yes, I've done that plenty of times before. Out of my loss prevention history, filing charges against people, I've filed a lot of stuff with the clerk's office, but never realized that filing charges and filing return of service is the same process. So the lessons I have here for you today is 1, not difficult, not tricky. You can totally do it. 2, I want to spare you the anxiety and the struggle into trying to learn this stuff. Wherever you learn it, be a student. Don't be a follower, but be a student and only check credible sources. There's a ton of bad information online, a ton of outdated information online, which may have been valid a few years ago or whenever, but so I have my paid course if you're interested in that. The math works out wonderfully. If you serve only about 5 packets ever, you break even. Everything after that is money in your pocket. And you have that skill set and that experience that you can always fall back on later if you want to. If you have any questions about this, or if you want to share your first experience serving process, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear that. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing. even if it's the hard thing.